This is one of those areas that really separates the good from the bad. When you have happy clients, when you have client retention, obviously they're going to speak about you. You've got these, walking, talking billboards, these advocates for your business. So, they're going to start bringing in referrals. And it is a bit old school to, have people walking around talking and saying, telling good things about you, but it's like an integral part of your business. Like the one thing that coaches and PT and fitness business owners want is leads coming to them, in whatever capacity that they come, so that they're, not spending heaps of time scouring the gym for, outreach, those kind of things. And if your current clients are happy with the service that you have, then, they're going to start talking about you. Once you have a service that caters to your clients and they're happy and they're staying and they're talking to other people about you, you can really start to develop a reputation for yourself. And that reputation starts to spread, and it starts to spread to people that, maybe don't know who you are exactly, or, they don't work with you specifically. They might know someone who knows someone who works, with you, but they just they know that you're good. They know your brand. So I've never really met a business that has a good reputation that runs a shit service. It just doesn't really make sense when you look at it like that. And I guess one of the last things that comes from all of these things inadvertently is more income. It's like you've got a good service, people are happy with, what they're getting. They're telling people about you, and you've got this good reputation. It's like that's where you can charge more. It's not necessarily like I've been in the industry for this long, so that means that I can charge this much. It's like I have a great service that is better than anybody else around doing what I do, and I can charge accordingly, and there's no real negotiation in price. Like people know exactly what you're about, and you have that reputation, so they're willing to pay for it. Now, if you're a coach and you're wanting to build a top tier service, the first thing you need to talk about, which we talk about in other videos, is who you work with, what their biggest problems are, what the obstacles that they face on a daily basis, and what's your approach or what's your method to solving those things. And then after that, you have to think about, okay, well, what's my delivery method? How am I going to solve all these things, and what's going to be involved within these services to aid your client to achieve their goals? And so the first one is your training program. So your training program is an integral part of a personal training service. Like if you don't have a training program and it's something that's actually tangible, and that can be delivered digitally, it can be, if you're a little bit old school, it can be printed out and all those things, but we need to have some form of structured, measured approach to training so that client knows exactly what they're getting, and they can go into every workout being prepared, and I guess moving with intent. So after a training program, obviously most people navigate to nutrition. Now, when it comes to nutrition, we obviously need to be certified and have the right compliance to be able to give advice. So with those people, it's like adding a nutrition element to your business does make sense. It's a tremendous amount of value. It obviously coincides with the training goals really well. So you can have some form of nutrition service, whether it's guiding them with macros and guiding them with calories and food suggestions, or right down to micromanagement, maybe giving someone a meal plan and coaching them across the spectrum to be able to get to maybe some form of informed eating approach where they can go in and out of micromanagement with nutrition. Now, if you're not nutrition certified, you obviously need to work off the healthy eating guidelines and stuff like that, but you can still have an element to it that's improving the habits that this individual needs for their nutrition. So having some form of service where we're taking care of that, again, just adds on to our main scope of practice, which is training. Now, thinking about training again, it's important that we don't just look at what happens in our individual sessions if we're a face-to-face coach, or just what happens in, I guess, the core part of the training sessions for the client. We need to think about preparing them beforehand to make sure that they're ready to train. And there's nothing more frustrating than as a face-to-face trainer if your client walks up to you and it's like, are you warmed up, ready to go? And they're like, nah, I haven't done a single thing. And it's like, okay, well, now we have to spend 10 to 15 minutes preparing you for the gym or preparing you for the training session. And that's just time eaten up that could be serviced elsewhere. So this is where having some form of warm-up resource, we have one that gives you a bit of a general warm-up, general physical preparedness warm-up. If they need more specificity, they have it. So they can walk into the gym, be prepared, and that even if you're not with them as their coach, you're doing everything they can to keep them injury-free and to perform as well as they can. The next layer to a next level personal training service is having the ability to collate results and reflect on the week just gone by and have a look at how things are trending over time. If there was one thing that I didn't quite get the opportunity for, and I always spoke about it and only really implemented it towards the end, was I always said that I needed an opportunity to talk about some things or cover some things that I just never got to talk about in my face-to-face training sessions with my clients. So I never really got to have in-depth conversations about nutrition. We never really got to have in-depth conversations about like what the focus was for the week, what obstacles we were facing, and moving that person into the week ahead with some vision. And this is where a check-in does allow that stuff to happen. Now, sure, you can go as complicated or as simple as you want, but I think having some form of process where the client gives you a bit of input and reflection about the week just gone. You guys cover some metrics that you need to interpret data to, give them results or change things in the future. I think that's a really integral point of getting good outcomes and keeping the client on track. And again, just adding to that reputation and those results and the advocacy that we talked about before. It's like if you have all of these elements and this person's taking care of covering them for you, and you're able to give them really good decision making to move them towards their goalposts, they're going to get better outcomes. And that's that's why we're here. So having some form of check-in is that next level service, which is starting to become the norm, which is really good to see as well. So there's probably a lot of people that are nodding their heads watching this video going, this is part of my service. This is part of my service. I've got all of these things. Now they're all part of a great service, next level service. We're here to stand out. We're here to go to, this is the best. Now, providing some form of education and resources for your clients is going to take you and separate you from the pack. I don't know how many times coaches have come to me. I always get asked this question about nutrition, or this person always says this, or this person always asks how to set up on a deadlift, how to get tight underneath a bar in a squat. And it's like, these are all really integral pieces of information if you're paying attention. If you're a business owner, if you're a PT, and you're paying attention to these questions and you're not getting frustrated answering them, it's like, find a solution. Add assets to your business that are going to serve you and your clients. So what I mean by that is make some form of education resource program for your clients to understand your method, understand why you're doing things, answer those frequently asked questions, and provide a platform for them to look at that content whenever they want, and obviously consult you for questions at the same time. This makes your PT sessions, if you're a face-to-face coach, or your check-ins with your clients, really, really specific and really, really intentful. Because you can always sit there and say, and it's time efficient for you and your business as well. Especially we've got coaches who have 30, 40, 50 clients, with them. So it's a lot of questions to answer, especially for the same thing. So it's make these assets that serve your business. They take a little bit of time to develop, and you're not going to get these business or all these assets set up overnight. But it's all of these things are going to serve your business in a way that's going to pay you back in the future. Now, some examples of resources and stuff that we have for our clients is, just some stuff on mindset and goal setting, working around their training program, understanding why, what the moving parts are, and obviously how to complete it, because there's nuances within that as well. Talking about nutrition, why their diet might be the way it is, what are some popular diet types for them to navigate through, how to identify if a diet is effective or not, make good decisions about that, and then just some basic nutritional science as well. Then we talk about training, executing well in the gym, those common questions about how to set up under a bar, how to look for this, how to make this set, most effective for them, so that they walk into the gym with intent and know exactly what to do. And then the last one is about, not the last one, it's kind of the first one, but we're talking about it last today. It's just about getting started. What are the terms and conditions? What are the roles and responsibilities of both parties? Another thing in business is no one wants to have those hard conversations. No one wants to say hey, this is what I'm responsible for, and this is what we expect as a team, and these are the obligations that you have to me as the client. And really starting to lay that slate from the get-go. And it's if you have good resources and you've got an opportunity to set those in stone, it's hey, just refer back to that. Just refer back to this. It's in there. It's in the terms and conditions. I'm supposed to do this for you. So if you mess up, it's hey, I need to make sure that I, lift in this area, and I will do that because that's my obligation to you. These are all elements that take your service to the next level. How many coaches do you guys know that have all of this stuff available to them? It's sure, they've got the training, sure, they've got this fancy check-in, but it's do their clients actually have the ability to take in information that's specific to your method that solves these common problems that they have? That is what is taking personal trainers to that next level when we talk about their service. Finally, some other additions that, again, just take your brand, your business, your clientele, your reputation, all of these things to the next level is community, building community, and I guess building a tribe where people, feel like they belong. It's like, this is where, like community groups, we have our own private network. We have like a focal place where everybody can get together and kind of chat and talk about things about training and nutrition, and even things just about life and business and stuff, and connect. It's so awesome when we go into the gym and we see clients, training together that would never have met each other and never have trained in the gym and just said hi to each other unless they were able to, I guess, communicate and, get together either in the virtual space or, things like events. We run charity days, 2 to 3 times a year, photo shoots, lift offs, those kind of things. And we get everybody together so they feel like they belong to something. So if you can take that element of wanting to belong, which is what we like to have as people, and take that to your business, it's like you're going to build this tribe and this community that is going to be a moving force for your business. And again, when we talk about those key things at the start, it's like, that's how people talk about you. That's how you get that reputation. That's how, you get referrals and stuff, because people look at that stuff and they want in. They want to be a part of something, so you guys can create that. And the last additions to it is just, on the fly or in some form of structured format, you can do things like lives and Q&As and workshops where they are specific to maybe what your clients want to know. It's like if you've got things that, constantly are coming up, you've created resources, you've done some things, or maybe you've just learned some really cool stuff that you want to deliver in a face-to-face format. You want to take all your physique clients before they go into contest prep into a Q&A and just go, yep, cool, this is a spitfire session on all the stuff that you want to know about contest prep. Or before our lift-off prep, when people are engaging in a periodized program to get them to a platform. It's like, okay, what are all your questions and queries about our approach to that program or to that day? Thinking next level and thinking above and beyond, and making sure that that person and that client's getting everything that they need to achieve their goals. It's like if that person is happy with what they're getting and you guys are going far and beyond, it's like this is how we separate ourselves, build that reputation, get more money and get more fulfillment, because we're getting these outcomes for people.